All in?
Oh, I think my card number was...
You got it.
Welcome back to the vlog. Thanks for joining us today. We're going to show some poker hands, and then we're going to talk about the algorithm that we tested out last week, and I'll let you know the results. You guys did a fantastic job. I had twice as many likes as normal and 4 times the number of comments. So if anything's going to spike, it would happen on this video, and I'll show you the results at the end. In the meantime, sit back, relax, enjoy. Here it comes. We're back at Capital Casino, buying the 1-3 game for $500. We've been on a little heater. Let's see if we can keep it rolling. First interesting hand takes place about 30 minutes into the session. I look down at King-Queen suited. There is a $6 straddle in front of me. I opened for 20. There was a player who posted $3 for missing their blinds. They go ahead and complete. It's folded back around to the player in the straddle who also completes. So we're going to end up going 3 ways to this flop with $64 in the pot. Flop comes out pretty good. It's king, 3, deuce. There are 2 hearts on the board. A little bit concerning. Both these players are basically in the blind, so they could have just about any 2 that they defend with. I decided to bet 40, a little bit on the larger size. First player folds. Second player thinks about it for a while before finally folding. So it's not a big pot, but it's the first one of the day. We'll take it. Haven't had anything playable for the last half hour or so, but I do have a very good image at the time. There was a $6 straddle, 2 players limp in. I decided to raise to 40 with my 7-4 of spades. It's not a premium hand, but my image is strong enough that I think I can just pick up the blinds. Player behind me disagrees. He decides to put in the call for the $40. He's been a very active player, so he can have a wide range at this point. The other players fold out, and we're going to go heads up to a flop. So we have the initiative, but we're out of position with a premium hand like 7-4, and it flops 7 high. So we flop top pair, backdoor flush draw, backdoor straight draw. What more can you ask for when you play a piece of cheese like 7-4? I lead out for $50. He thinks about it for a little bit and says, your pocket kings are good, and he mucks it. I'm in the big blind with ace-jack. There was a $6 straddle. Player opened for 15. 2 players call for the 15, and it comes back around to me. This could either be just a fold, or it could be a 3-bet. And since I haven't played a hand in a while, I decided to go ahead and for the 3-bet, and I make it $90. I figure this is strong enough to get through most of the players. Maybe I'll end up with 1 caller. They start folding, and well, you know, I do get 1 caller. It's from the player who originally put in the $15. So I'm thinking that he probably has a pretty good hand, probably a better hand than I do. But if the flop misses him, he's going to have a hard time calling my continuation bet. So after everyone else folds out, we're going heads up to a flop with 217 in, which comes 9-6-5 with 2 spades. I do have the jack of spades. But let's face it, I'm playing this hand on my image. I'm not playing this on the quality of my particular cards. So I decided to bet $75. Basically, I'm targeting all his ace highs that might be better than mine to fold, and maybe deny equity to some hands like king, queen, or something like that. Pocket pairs are probably going to end up calling. In that case, I'm going to be in deep trouble. I'm going to have to shut it down. But it doesn't come to that because he lays down his hand. All right, I'm not proud of this one, but bear with me. There is a $7 straddle, 1 player limps. I look down at ace king, raise to 30. I get called from the player in the cutoff for the 30, and the other 2 players come along also. So we're going to end up going 4 ways to this flop with 124 in the pot. Flop comes out pretty good for my particular hand. It comes 8, queen, deuce, all spades. So I got the nut flush draw, 2 overcards, and this is just a total green light to bet, and I decide to check this, which was, in my opinion, a really bad mistake. My thoughts of being balanced with having some nut flush draws in my range was the consideration. It does get checked around, and we see a 4 of clubs on the turn. Should be a complete blank. It's checked me again. I go, okay, I'll put out the delayed c-bet here. So I make it for $70. I figure I can fold out all sorts of straight draws, maybe some middling pocket pairs. Who knows? My opponent to my left in the cutoff now decides to raise to 170. Oh, what'd I get myself into? The other players fold out, and now it's back to me. And I'm going, okay, there's a couple possibilities. Did he slow play a flush? I really don't think so. He probably wouldn't slow play it just because he didn't want to give a free card. So I don't think he has a flush. Could he have turned a set of fours? Yeah, that's definitely a possibility. He might call $30 pre-flop. He gets a free look. He turns a set of fours. I'm in deep trouble. Could he be making a move because the 4 doesn't hit my range and he thinks he can just steal it with a raise? Yes, he is capable of doing that too. So with enough less draw, 2 overs, I'm putting in the call, hoping I don't run into a set of 4s. When the river card comes as a deuce of clubs, it doesn't help us at all. We brick out on our flush draw. We have missed our overcards. We got nothing. But I really don't think he's that strong. The only strong hand I can really put him on is pocket 4s. So I thought that there is a chance, a small chance, that if I jam that I can get him to fold all his other hands besides pocket 4s, because I really don't think he has a flush, and if he has pocket 4s, so be it. I shove, he snaps, I say, you're good, and he shows 4 deuce of hearts.
All right, we could have avoided all this mess by just c-betting the flop. I don't know why you didn't do it. You really don't need to balance that much in a 1-3 game. Once you get to the river, he's really not going to be folding too much. Your line doesn't look strong enough. If you had a flush or a set, he probably would have just jammed turn. And since he didn't, he's going to be calling down with just about anything that has any value.
After bluffing off my stack, I'm pretty mad at myself. Buy another $500 in chips. End up losing about $100 over the next couple of hands. I feel like shaking things up, so I do something I normally don't do, and that's this call in the dark from under the gun. Yeah, pretty strange play. Player next to me puts in a raise, get a couple callers, and after he raised, I peeked down and I saw that I had a really playable hand with ace-jack, so I just decided to call. Probably better just to squeeze here, let's be honest. It's probably better not to limp with it in the first place. But then again, I didn't know I had it. So we're going to go off to a flop, 5-way action, $138 in the main, and the flop comes Jack 9-5 with 2 hearts. I check and flow. It ends up getting checked all the way around. So I feel pretty good about my top pair, top kicker, especially when it gets checked all the way around. Turn card comes ace of hearts. Pretty good card. I don't think anyone has a flush draw, but I'm thinking the player next to me probably has an ace. So I decided to check it over to him because he's been playing fairly aggressively. If he has an ace, I'm sure he's going to be betting it. And he fires out for $75. As I said, I think he would bet all his flush draws. Everyone else folds out, so I'm thinking the best hand he can have is an ace with a king of hearts or like a queen of hearts. So I decided to go for the old check raise and try to get him, committed to this pot. So I make it 150 more. I could probably go bigger, but I wanted the action and I only have like another 150 behind. So I think he would pay off with a lone ace if a blank comes. He takes a peek back at his cards to make sure that he does have a heart in his hand. And after that, it's, he knows that he's going to be paying off at the end, so might as well get it in now. And he decides to go ahead and put me all in for my last $150. I instantly call, of course, and we go see a run out, which comes with a black 10. He showed ace queen with a queen of hearts, and my 2 pair took this one down. Well, I'm only down about 240 at this point. It's been about 3 hours. There's a $10 straddle on, and I get 2 callers in front of me, so I put in the call. The player behind me calls. Now the button raises to 40. Kind of a small raise, but that's perfect for me since I have a small pocket pair, and it's great to set mine in this kind of situation. There are a lot of deep stacks at the table, so paying $40 for a set mining opportunity is well worth it. Of course, you don't want to be involved in a set over set when you have pocket threes, because most likely you're not going to be the big set on the table. Anyway, we end up going 6 ways to this flop with 241 in the center, which comes 9-8-3 with 2 clubs. So, excellent flop. We got a draw heavy board with 5 other players in the mix. It gets checked around to me, and I decided to bet about half pot. So I ended up betting $110. I figure I'll get some action from someone with a flush draw, straight draw, and might even entice the person with an overpair, if they have one, to put in a raise. The player on my direct left decides to put in the call for the 110. He's most likely to have a drawing hand, like either Jack 10 or maybe a flush draw, perhaps even a pair and a flush draw. 6-7 is another obvious hand that he could have in this situation. So I think he is on some sort of draw. Now it's over to the player in the button who's a pre-flop aggressor. He thinks for quite a while, and I'm really hoping that he's going to put in a raise here, and that's exactly what he does. He announces $250. So I'm really loving this spot. The pot is really starting to grow. It's over $700. Could he have pocket 9s here? Of course. Could he have pocket 8s? Yeah. Am I ever going to fold pocket 3s? Hell no. This is a hand I'm going to be going with. The other players fold out, and now it's back on me. I have about $610 left in my stack. So, yeah, I think the only move here is to go ahead and jam, so that's what I do. I stick it in there. Player behind me has a tougher, thing to call. He has to call a total of $610 more. He thinks about it for a while, but he finally ended up folding. I'm not quite sure what he had. What he said didn't make too much sense. So anyway, he makes the fold and is back on to the player on the button who thinks about it for a very long time. And he eventually ends up folding also and showing that he had pocket 10s. So it's a little unfortunate I didn't get max value with this small set, but I'm very happy to be back to even after my punt earlier in the session. This doesn't happen often in poker, but when it does, it feels good. I get basically a free peek at a flop in a 6-way pot with King 9 offsuit. The flop comes King 9. I mean, oh. There's some players with deep stacks and pretty aggressive, so I decided to check it, see if they wanted to take the lead. It ends up getting checked around. Turn card comes as a queen of spades. I figure maybe someone made a straight or maybe picked up a flush draw or at least has a pair of queens that they're willing to take a stab with. So I check it again. It gets checked over to a player who decides to bet for $25. Seems like a very fair price. He has a smallish stack, so I'm really hoping to get an overcall from someone with a bigger stack, maybe making a play at the pot. But they all fold out, so we're heads up to the river, which comes at 8 of spades. Not very good. If he had a straight, he's not happy. If he had a flush, he might be worried about me having the ace of spades. I just fire out for 75. I want to get some sort of payoff here. He might make a crying call with a small spade. Maybe he thinks I'm out of line and is going to look me up. He does eventually make the call, and he showed that he had Jack 4 of spades. So we picked up an extra $100 there. We ended up cashing out a little bit later, played for 4 hours, got into the game for $1,000, cashed out $1,420. That's a $420 win. Happy with that. But I'm not happy with the way I played that ace-king. Really needed to c-bet that flop. That could have solved a lot of headaches. Would have won a small pot, most likely, instead of losing a big one. Anyway, about the algorithm. You guys did a great job in pushing that like button and making comments. And it's kind of interesting what happened. As you can see that we had about the same number of views as our other videos. There are comments there, almost 500. Our average was around 100. So we're doing really good there. We got over 1,000 likes, and we normally get about 500 likes. So you guys did really great. So from my understanding of what this should do, it should be shown to a lot of new faces, and we should get new subscribers seeing it and new viewers. On the subscribers, the views were about the same as my regular videos. And here's the impressions. This is the only thing that I've seen that is up a little bit. It was shown to more people as a potential video. But if you look at the new viewers, that little blue line, it's about the same as it was before. So a little bit disappointing. I didn't pick up as much as I thought. I really thought this was going to move the needle a lot. And basically, it's just a blank. So all I can really do is keep grinding, keep putting out content, and hopefully people will find it. If you have any suggestions or ideas, I'm open to hearing them. From my understanding is that viewership is down substantially over the last 6 months. Don't know why. Maybe people are coming out of COVID. Maybe they just don't like poker videos so much. It could be oversaturated also. There's a lot of new vloggers out there. Anyway, thanks for watching. Appreciate your support. Please like and subscribe. You know how it helps the algorithm.